soft at the tavern.
Michigan, July 30th, 1975, at 2:45 p.m. A man stands in a parking lot at the Mitch's Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township near Detroit. He is Jimmy Hoffa. The sun is high, the air is thick, and he is angry. The traffic at the corner of Telegraph and Maple Roads hums past him, indifferent, unaware, and impossibly normal. Hoffa glances at his watch again. He has been waiting, nearly 1 hour for a meeting he believed could change everything, possibly save his future, or at least give him a pathway back to the throne he once held. But then something strange happens. A moment so ordinary, most people would never notice it. Hoffa raises his head, eyes fixed on something or someone approaching the lot. He adjusts his posture. The irritation vanishes. He steps forward, just slightly, as though acknowledging a familiar arrival. And then, "I'm Mr. Vanny. Welcome to our channel, Prime Chronicle 1. But here's the thing, to understand why Jimmy Hoffa vanished, you must understand the forces that shaped him long before July 30th, 1975. You must understand the war he was fighting, one that many believe ended not with his arrest, not with his release from prison, but with a disappearance planned far in advance. To understand the end, we need to go way back to the beginning. A boy built by hardship between 1913 to 1930s, Jimmy Hoffa did not come from power. He did not inherit influence. He did not grow up envisioning himself at the center of one of America's largest labor movements. He grew up in struggle. Born February 14, 1913 in Brazil, Indiana, Hoffa's early life revolved around poverty and survival. When he was 7, his father died, leaving his mother, Viola, to raise him and his siblings alone. The family scraped by through odd jobs, taking whatever work they could find. By his teens, Hoffa was living in Detroit's industrial heart of America. Factories dominated the skyline. Warehouses lined the streets. Trucks roared endlessly through the arteries of the expanding city. Jobs existed but justice didn't. Workers were mistreated, underpaid, and often threatened when they objected. And Hoffa noticed everything. The inequities, the fear, the imbalance of power. By age 14, he left school to work full-time. He stood shoulder to shoulder with men twice his age, learning the rhythms of manual labor and the vulnerabilities of those who performed it. In 1932, at 19 years old, Hoffa witnessed a warehouse manager attempt to intimidate workers into accepting unfair terms. The workers were frightened but angry. They whispered encouragement to each other but lacked a leader. Hoffa stepped forward. He organized. He strategized. He unified a group of exhausted, frustrated men into a force willing to stand their ground. The strike succeeded, and for the first time, Jimmy Hoffa felt the power of collective action. For him, it wasn't just a victory, it was a calling. He didn't yet know it, but this moment would launch him into a world of negotiations, alliances, betrayals, and power struggles far larger, and far more dangerous than he could imagine. By the 1940s, Hoffa had become one of the most influential organizers in the Teamsters Union. He was known not for charm, but for toughness, cleverness, and an almost supernatural ability to read people's motives. Truckers and diners and warehouses trusted him. Union rivals feared him. Corporations dreaded seeing his name on their schedules. And then came 1957. After a corruption scandal took down his predecessor, Hoffa was elected president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the largest labor union in North America. Over 2 million workers fell under the umbrella of his influence. With that many members, Hoffa controlled something more valuable than money. He controlled movement. The literal movement of goods across America. If his members stopped driving, America stopped functioning. Power like that doesn't go unnoticed or unchallenged. This is when federal attention turned in his direction, specifically from one determined political figure, Robert F. Kennedy. Kennedy believed the Teamsters were deeply infiltrated by organized crime, and that Hoffa was at the center of it. Whether Hoffa's involvement with mob figures was a survival tactic, a natural extension of union politics, or a relationship of mutual benefit, has been debated for decades. But what is undeniable is that Kennedy launched a relentless campaign known informally as the Get Hoffa Squad. Hearings, investigations, surveillance, indictments. Kennedy wanted Hoffa removed. Hoffa wanted Kennedy stopped. Their conflict became one of the most personal, bitter political wars of the era. But Hoffa, despite his ferocity, could not outrun federal power forever. In 1967, he was convicted of fraud, conspiracy, and jury tampering. He entered prison convinced that he would return to the leadership he believed was rightfully his. But prison changed the landscape outside his cell. While Hoffa served time, new leaders rose within the Teamsters. New alliances formed. New relationships with organized crime solidified. When President Nixon commuted Hoffa's sentence in 1971, Hoffa was free, but with one crushing condition. He could not participate in union leadership until 1980. Hoffa viewed this as an insult. Others viewed it as a warning. Some saw it as a threat. Because during his imprisonment, powerful men had grown comfortable with him gone, and they did not intend to let him return. By 1975, Hoffa was 62 years old. His health was still strong, his will was unbroken, and his ambition was sharper than ever. But the Teamsters had moved on. New leaders were in place, leaders supported by organized crime figures Hoffa once knew, once negotiated with, and in some cases, once clashed with. Hoffa began meeting quietly with union members, still loyal to him. He contacted old associates. He started making strategic no's about retaking control of the union. This was not just a comeback attempt, it was a disruption of an empire built in his absence. If Hoffa returned, he would overturn alliances, threaten financial pipelines, and unearth past dealings. This created a dangerous situation. Hoffa believed he still had enough power to reclaim leadership. Many others believed he had enough knowledge to destroy them. And somewhere between those two realities, a plan appears to have formed, a plan that would take less than an hour to execute. In late July, Hoffa received word that two longtime figures, Anthony Tony Provenzano and Anthony Tony Jack Holland wanted to meet with him. The meeting, Hoffa was told, would take place on July 30th at the Matches Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township. This meeting was supposed to discuss union matters, or perhaps resolving disputes, or perhaps something else entirely. Hoffa told his family, he told friends, he told multiple associates exactly who he was meeting and where. This was unusual. Hoffa rarely broadcasted his movements. Many believe he sensed danger and thought making details public would protect him. The night before the meeting, Hoffa gathered documents, reviewed notes, and prepared for what he believed would be the first step towards reclaiming the Teamsters. By 11 a.m. Hoffa leaves home. Hoffa left his Lake Orion home before noon, dressed in a dark suit despite the heavy summer heat. He got into his green Pontiac Grandville and drove the familiar route toward the Red Fox restaurant. He arrived early, very early, almost an hour before the scheduled meeting. He tried calling several people from a nearby payphone. He repeatedly mentioned that he'd been stood up. He appeared visibly irritated. This would be the last time anyone heard his voice. By 2:15 p.m. multiple witnesses confirmed seeing Hoffa standing near his car, arms crossed, looking frustrated. Others saw him stepping toward the edge of the lot, as if recognizing someone. No one reported seeing him leave. No one saw a struggle. No one heard anything unusual. 30 minutes passed. Hoffa's car remained locked in the parking lot. Then Hoffa disappears. He was gone, not with a scream, not with a gunshot. He simply is never seen again. Not walking, not getting into a vehicle, not leaving the parking lot, just gone. When Hoffa didn't return home for dinner, his wife, Josephine, immediately sensed something was wrong. She called friends, then police, then anyone she believed might have seen him. By the next morning, the FBI was involved. By the next week, the case was national news. By the end of the month, it was one of the biggest investigations in U.S. history. But here's the chilling part. Despite the size and urgency of the investigation, no physical evidence was ever found. Not Hoffa's body, not his clothing, not his briefcase, not even a confirmed drop of blood. Nothing. It was as if the earth itself had swallowed him. Several theories rose to the forefront, each more unsettling than the last. Theory 1, the mafia removal theory. Hoffa knew too much. He wanted too much. He threatened too many people. Mob leaders who had grown comfortable with his absence allegedly believed his return would expose past financial deals and disrupt their control of the union. Eliminating him would stabilize their power. Theory 2, the union rival theory. The Teamsters had changed. New leadership had powerful allies. Hoffa's attempt to return threatened existing structures. If Hoffa returned, old secrets would surface. Theory 3: The betrayal theory. Some believe the meeting Hoffa attended was a trap carefully designed to isolate him. Everything about the timing, location, and secrecy suggests planning its spontaneity. And the deeper investigators dug, the more it seemed that every clue was deliberately erased long before July 30th. This wasn't just a disappearance, it was a professional erasure. Jimmy Hoffa was declared legally dead in 1982, 7 years after he vanished. His wife died never knowing what happened to him. His children grew up under the weight of unanswered questions. The Teamsters moved forward, rebuilding but forever marked by the shadow of their most famous leader. And after decades of searching for fields, warehouses, landfills, stadiums, and secret locations, his body has never been found. 49 years later, investigators, experts, and every major crime agency still cannot confidently explain what happened in the 30 minutes between Hoffa standing in that parking lot and the world losing him forever. This is why the Hoffa case still chills investigators today. There are disappearances, there are murders, there are cold cases, but there are very few cases where a man of enormous influence, standing in broad daylight, can vanish so completely that nearly 50 years later, the world still cannot answer the simplest question. Where is Jimmy Hoffa? Jimmy Hoffa's life ended not with a headline but with silence. A silence orchestrated, protected, and preserved for decades. Maybe someone took him. Maybe several people coordinated it. Maybe the truth was written down, whispered, or confessed behind closed doors. But unless someone breaks decades of silence, unless a buried clue finally rises to the surface, unless a confession emerges from the twilight of fading memories, the Hoffa case may remain forever unsolved. The earth swallowed him, and it has never given him back. For our audience, do you think Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance was planned months in advance? If new technology could reveal one hidden clue, what would you want it to uncover? Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and until the next case, keep your eyes open.